What's a guy like you doing here for Jeanne Shaheen? I had the good fortune of working with Jeannie in the state senate when she was in the state senate, and then she became governor. I also had the good fortune of working with her then. I chaired the Senate Environment Committee for 8 of those 10 years when I was there, and I was vice chair the first 2 years. And then I went on to form a national group called the National Caucus of Environmental Legislatures. And I've had the good fortune of testifying in front of congressional committees a half a dozen times on particular matters and takings legislation. And the environment has been my passion my whole life, really. And I can tell you that Jeanne, when I used to sponsor legislation, I could always count on Jeanne Shaheen to be there in the state senate and going to her as governor to help me with legislation to get it passed for our great state. And I think that Jeanne has asked me to come here tonight, and her position is there is no time to waste, that the time for talk really should be over. It's really the time for action by the United States. And I'm thrilled to think that come next Tuesday night we are going to see a big change here in the United States. And it's not just going to be 8 more years of Bush policies and politics and turning it back on the environment, and not just global warming, but in other environmental areas. Jeanne knows that certainly in representing New Hampshire, there's economic interest to think about. It simply is apple pie, the ski industry, the snowmobiling industry. There's our forests are seeing change, wildlife habitat changes that are occurring. There's health issues like asthma and respiratory issues and so on and so forth with the equality. There's increasing mosquito populations and things of that nature that we have to think about with global warming just for our own state. But at the same time, I think you're going to find that Jeanne Shaheen will be a leader, and we have already put in place, irrespective of who were to win at the top of the ticket, to make sure that the environment, particularly global warming, is one of the big issues. Because unless you get started right now, before there's even a transition team, you have to get on that docket, so to speak, to make sure that it's going to be up there. Obviously, the economy is going to be there, the war in Iraq is going to be there, but we think that global warming is going to be one of the top 3 issues that the new administration is going to tackle and going to face. And I can assure you that if Jeanne Shaheen is elected on next Tuesday, that she certainly will be right there in the forefront of that debate and making sure that happens. And certainly I'm going to be right there pushing to make sure and keeping her feet to the fire with others of us in the environmental community that will happen. And I must say that I think it's time that we stop thinking that we can drill our way out of this situation, and that we can continue to subsidize big oil and things of that nature. And I think you'll see Jeanne Shaheen vote to do things not in that manner, the old school, if you will, but the new school is where our speakers have said tonight we need to be, and essentially skating to where the puck is. I think that's a great analogy, because obviously the rest of the world is far ahead of us in terms of tackling this issue and setting standards that need to be met. And so I would certainly urge you to ask questions if you have. Again, I'm certainly not, have some knowledge of certainly the global warming issue, and certainly would urge you to ask questions, and certainly I would urge you to go out and support Jeanne Shaheen on next Tuesday. Thank you.
Now over to the 1st Congressional District. Both campaigns are represented by staffers and surrogates here tonight, and I will start with Jeb Bradley's campaign. Kate Bonner is here representing former Congressman Jeb Bradley. And Kate, if you'd like to come up and say a few words, we're happy to have you here.
Thank you. My first disclaimer is that I don't usually give speeches in front of people, so I have to read from my piece of paper that I brought. But thank you for tonight's sponsors. I'm glad to be here. Jeb sends his regrets for not being able to be here in person, but I'm happy to be here. Hopefully, maybe I can answer some questions after the event. Everybody has them. Also, thank you to the panelists for your very important work that you do on this issue. The statement that Jeb sent to me is kind of bullet pointed, and it's in the first person, so you have to pretend that I'm Jeb as the reader. All right. Okay. Climate change is a contentious but serious issue. It's important that as we move forward on the climate change policy and debate, we carefully balance the protections and use of our planet's resources while also strengthening our economy. Americans are struggling to deal with today's high cost of energy, whether it is heating our homes or filling up our gas tank. We owe it to the next generation to explore all of the available options, and I have and will continue to support comprehensive energy plans that include expanded use of nuclear energy, offshore drilling, clean coal, as well as aggressively develop the full range of renewable energy options and energy-efficient technologies. By doing all of the above, we will protect the environment, keep taxes low, create new jobs, and retain our talented workers. Despite any differences of opinions that Americans might have regarding climate change, we can and we should do things and act to protect the environment, specifically to reduce carbon emissions. There's a great example just down the road in Portsmouth. The Northern Wood Power Project, which is located at the PSNH station in Portsmouth, has replaced their 50-megawatt coal boiler with a state-of-the-art wood-burning boiler of about the same size, and air emissions from that project are estimated to be reduced by more than 380,000 tons annually through the burning of clean wood chips. It is a great example of our state's ingenuity and leadership in protecting the environmental health of our state and our region. I have a proven record of working to protect our beautiful state and the nation's environment, particularly in the White Mountain National Forest. I have supported by introducing, co-sponsoring, and voting for legislation to increase hybrid car tax credits, eliminate the tariff on imported ethanol, investigating price gouging, as well as increase protections to the White Mountain National Forest. I'm proud of the work I've done, and I'm eager to continue to provide the leadership New Hampshire has come to expect on this important issue. Thanks.
Our final speaker represents Congresswoman Carol Shea Porter, and Rob Mueller is here from her campaign. Rob?
Similar disclosure, I am not an expert, but I will do my best to speak on behalf of Carol. I'd also like to thank the panelists. Actually, one of the slides that Dr. Wake has shown before, and what is in the packet, in the report that they put together, it actually shows New Hampshire kind of sliding down the East Coast as the climate warms up. And you actually see New Hampshire down there, somewhere around Virginia or North Carolina. As somebody who has spent a few summers in Virginia, I would take a New Hampshire summer any day over a Virginia summer. So we have to make sure that that doesn't happen. And to talk about moral questions, actually, Carol running for Congress, that was based off of really a moral question. She went down to Katrina, like Dr. Wake spoke about, and she saw the injustice there, and she said, where is the government? What are they doing? Why aren't they here? Why aren't they helping these people? So moral questions really can spur change. They really can spur people into action, and they really can change the world, really. And that's what Carol's been fighting to do down in Washington. She's very happy to have the endorsement of the Sierra Club, the League of Conservation Voters, for her commitment to the environment. She's been a strong proponent. One of the first things that she did when she got to Washington was she signed on to a bill that was introduced by Henry Waxman that committed to cutting greenhouse gases by 80% of the 1990 levels by 2050. That is what scientists say we need to do in order to stop catastrophic change from occurring on the planet. So she was very happy to do that. And in 2006, when she ran, much like she does today, she said that we needed an Apollo-type program, that America had to take the lead, we had to put our ingenuity behind it, create an Apollo-type program to go out there and to develop the technology and to revolutionize our economy, create millions of green jobs, like you heard Mr. Obama's and Ms. Shaheen's surrogates talk about. That is the kind of thing that we can do to really turn the economy around, to reinvent, the American manufacturing system. We could be producing solar panels in plants that, used to be mills. You could see, what is now what they call the Rust Belt. That could be revived to produce